We are not going to go over Apple. Well, we might. We just might, if anybody wants to. I'm sure some of you guys want to look at Amazon. We're not going to look at Netflix. We have a VRM on here. We have Cuervo, QRVO. And let's see, let's go over to focus trades really quick. Okay. Ah, there we go. We got some wing in there, right? You guys probably want to update on Team, TDoc, anything else? BRM. Gotcha, gotcha. And let's go up here. All right, you should be able to hear me now. Good morning, everybody. Happy, what is today? Wednesday? Hump day? I think so. We're getting ready for our big move. I think everybody knows that. Good morning. Good morning, Ben. So we are, you guys know we are moving. We have some family in town to come help us. We're really excited to start our new journey just about 20, 30 minutes down the road. Hurricane came, messed up a lot of things, so the title company had to push us back a couple days. So it should be fun because we got movers coming in, but we have nowhere to live. So we'll be in a hotel the night before, and then, but good thing is we got the internet company coming over today, so we'll have everything set up and transition these computers and setups over there. Let's go ahead and get started. We are first going to look at ES futures. You can see here I did put in a few names that we may be looking at this morning, maybe not reviewing them all, but we will start here with ES futures. Let's just talk about what we see here. Okay, so I'm showing you a 4-hour. I'm looking at the 9 EMA right now. I like the 2-hour and the 4-hour 9 EMA. You can see that there's confluence down here with the trendy edge and the line in the sand. The line in the sand right here is the blue line, and you can see the yellow line is the trendy edge. Now, the path are the boxes. How we get there is always difficult. Sure, you can see traders come out and say, hey, look, price moved from this box to this box, but let's face it, it's very difficult to stay in a trade for so long for most traders. So what we do is give you a roadmap to get you there. And let's just kind of go over that roadmap last night. Now we keep it really simple. We really do. Higher lows, higher highs. The trend is trending up within a down range. Understand that. Okay. So the overall trend needs to break above this level here, which is around 3360. Very important that you remember that number, around 3360. Right now, we are still in a bear channel. All right. So it's not easy to move up. We need a catalyst in order to break through a lot of these zones that are up above us. As you can see, this was last night's zone here. Okay. And you can see that we push right into our target. And as we open up, price is pulling back. Okay. Hey, Nav keeps saying there's no audio. Is it just him, guys? Yeah. And I can see here also it looks like WebEx is good. So we should be fine. You might want to get in and out there. Okay, cool. All right, so let's carry on. Maybe somebody can tell Nav that you guys can all hear. All right. So again, inside candle forming here. We got inside and up here. What this means is we have a tight range going on. Okay, so you got that 9 EMA again on the 4 or 2-hour, depending on what you like. Let's see if price just kind of jumbles around in here for a bit today. It might be not that great. The easier trade is outside of this box and or from this box, or if we start to break down below last night's low. Now, what I was going to show you, you can see here quite clearly, is that our levels worked very nice. I noticed that some of you in the futures trade channel was doing very well. I had a question yesterday that I thought was really interesting, and I think that it applies to any trader in this room or that is listening, okay? And that is, they notice, man, the bigger boxes were easier to trade. And I said, it's chop cycle. Okay. It's the chop cycle, right? It's very difficult to trade. So when we get to the chop cycle, I personally like, if I'm going to trade futures, I like to trade the MES around the bigger boxes. When we start trending very nicely, it's a little bit easier for me and for a lot of traders to use ES contracts. Okay. Raul says those lines are amazing. And they are. It's kind of weird, right? They just happen to work. All right. But the cool thing is we teach you how to find those lines here at Trendy Trading. Let's go ahead and see what we're looking at. Again, tight range for right now. Bulls need above last night's high and bears need below last night's low. Keep it that simple. Now, if you're day trading, decrease your time frame and work with something that you appreciate. Me personally, in chop cycle, till we continue the trend, either above this box or down below this box, I want to stay on a higher time frame today. All right. All right. So these are our targets to the upside and then downside. As long as we stay above the line in the sand, bulls are in charge of intraday. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. Now we have a lot of different setups. We're in some great trades that have already made a lot of good money. So there's a lot to cover. I'm going to try to make it pretty straightforward. And we're just going to start with the daily focus. So this is a new chart, VRM. Let's go ahead and pull this up. A couple things to take note of. We're going to go to a higher time frame. Notice that this is a newer issue. The IPO itself, started not too long ago, it looks like. And we have this candle. We pull back to about 88.7% of this low. I would imagine pretty close anyways. Okay, so you can see it there, right there. Almost came back. We had an inside and up here. We flushed through that, but we didn't quite break this wick. We actually made a higher low. And so the bigger picture on this, on the weekly, is that we came up and tested the 9 EMA last night, or yesterday, I apologize. Okay, so we came up, we pulled back. I have a neutral around this, 55.43 by 52.67. Different ways I can approach this, mellow in the yellow, or wait until I can reclaim above my levels. Reclaim above the EMA. Reclaim above 55.43. Just depends on what's going on in the broad market at that point. Okay, the market's tanking. Most likely, I won't be taking the reclaim. I'll wait for a bottom to form. It's important to stay patient during a little bit of this choppy cycle. Okay, targets to the upside 58.72, 60.56, and 65.18. Right now, the ATR on the weekly is at or around $10.60. Okay, let's go into a smaller time frame. All right, so for intraday trading, I'm probably looking at 4-hour to 2-hour 9 EMA. I want to notice a couple things here. We have a gap fill down at the trendy edge, these colored lines, trendy edges. Okay, we're underneath the trendy edge right now, pre-market. As long as we are under it, I am not interested in going long. When price is below a trendy edge, we look for it to be resistance. Let it come down. If it comes down into the 9, you can set an alert or have this up on another screen and just see if it flushes. And then on the reclaim, I can be buying it on sell down here and at least try. And if price starts to move up and then breaks neutral, I can add in. And then again, my trade plan starts here where I'm looking for my targets to the upside. Okay. I don't know if any of you guys caught my joke. I thought it was funny. The next one is wing. With them starting foosball. Is that what she says in that movie? Right? I think that's what she says. The one with Adam Sandler. Foosball. That's what I'm looking at, right? With it starting up, right? It's the devil's sport. But man, people like some wings, right? Yeah, that's right, Waterboy. So with everybody liking wings, not everybody, but with the season kicking up, I like this chart. All right, I gave you this chart 2 weeks ago. It's worked perfectly. It came into neutral, has pushed up very nicely, and now we're looking for it to push up. Okay, so we have these right here, and we have the ACDC up here. We're coming from under. All right, so let's go to a higher time frame so I can show you this. All right, void under. That looks pretty good for right now. Notice on the weekly, we're coming into the 9 EMA. So that's going to be resistance right now. So the way that I play this is if somebody did not take this out of here, what I'm looking for is each target needs to hold. How do I know if it's going to hold? I'm going to come over here to at least a 4-hour or a 2-hour, and I'm going to I want to continue to ride the trend. I want to pay attention to the 4-hour. You can see the 9 EMA is holding. I like the 4-hour because it's confluent with the trendy edge. You can see that right here. Today, basically stay neutral between, if I want to, I can draw you a box. Sometimes that makes you feel a little bit more comfortable, right? Including me. I could draw a box here between 142.85, which was a target, and then my trendy edge, which is confluent with the 9 EMA. As long as price is in here, let it mellow in the yellow. Okay, do its thing. If it comes down and tests the 9, goes a bit off the edge, stops go in, I get to trade lower on the curve. And then my process starts here. That's where I really start making good money. I'll add in above that high. What if it doesn't do that? Well, we can make it just a tad tighter, just like this. And you can see we're above that target. Okay, the bid and ask are pretty wide. I want to see if it can hold. I love the confluence right here again on the 2-hour. You guys all know that in the room. If we can hold this level and start to move up above 142.85, then we'll be looking, yep, I sure can, Eric, no problem. Then we'll be looking for targets 150 and 152.98 for right now. This is wing. Timing is the variable. Weekly ATR is 1381. Okay, I like this trade for a nice setup into ACDC. So for right now, I'm looking at, as long as this can hold, about 2 weeks out or so, I'm targeting at around 158, 152 to 158. Where does that put me? I can look at verticals. I could buy the 150s, sell the 155s a couple weeks out. I need to look at the premiums, and again, I'll discuss that later on when we start. Okay. Yep. And on the Nike, I'm just going to sell it on open. Okay. The one to actually talk about would be the KBH. So if KBH can pull back into my lower zone, I would love to sell the puts there and then give it 24 days to move up to my target to the upside. So it's very nice. All right. So there's wing. I'm going to go over costs really quick for you guys. All right. So costs, I know a lot of you guys started this yesterday. I went ahead and put together a new blueprint for you because it's working out so well. You can see on a 2-hour, we are going inside and up. We are breaking above the neutral. Right now, we are bidding 348.50 by 349.86. You can look to the left here, and you can see we're coming up into just a little, wick, a little bit of selling pressure here. If we could break above 350.05 and hold 10 to 30 minutes on open, look for the move into 352.30 and then up to 353.99. Now, what's important is we do have earnings, and I will be giving an earnings play on this by using spreads today, most likely. But earnings is tomorrow after close. So actually, let me take back that comment. I'll be looking at giving a earnings play on this with spreads tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow. Don't want to do it now because we could get a really big move. That kind of throws things off. So for today, intraday, these are your levels. Let me go ahead and just copy this for you really fast and throw this in the room for that person who was asking. I think right here, Nav, I may be, let me just double check, man. Earnings on 9/24 after market. That's what I'm seeing. If anybody's seeing anything different, just let me know. Okay. All right. Daily focus, moving on down. We went over wing. Here's my next one. Don't get it confused with the tequila. I don't think it has anything to do with that. QRVO. Okay, Cuervo. That's what I call it anyways. We have an ACDC setup. Now, ACDC setups are amazing. We've already seen that. We've made a lot of money on those setups, and here we are once again with a really nice ACDC setup. Now notice that price came into the bigger trendy edge and it made a higher low from here. This is a swing position when you're using higher time frames. And now we start to get lower, right? Using monthlies and weeklies and so forth. Now we're setting up here, just kind of consolidating in this range. Again, higher lows and we have at the moment lower highs. So it's a sideways trend. I think that's pretty straightforward to see. Okay. And you could, draw a line here and you can see, that we have higher lows there. Very straightforward. All right, so a little bit of consolidation. What that means to me is I have to be a little bit more patient and wait for some things to kind of, to form. All right. Now, this particular setup is a forecast setup, right? It's an ACDC equals whatever, right? And in this case, it equals 134.96. What I'm paying attention to, as long as 130 can hold, I'm looking for the move into the ME to complete this sequence of candles. Once we get here, I'd like to see a small pullback and then potentially right back up. Nice little cup and handle. Okay, so this one's really straightforward. And that brings me to my next one, which is SRPT. Same exact setup. Okay, right here. You can see some rails in here. I make these, I'm not big on shapes, but I'll put them there just for people who can relate. So I threw some rails on there. So I just want you to see the confluence here. SRPT is pushing out of this rail. It is an ACDC, or it's really close, folks. It's really close. 146.21, 146.25 is what it needs. You can see the bid and ask are pretty wide here on the open. But as long as price is hanging in here between these arrows, I'm looking for price to move up into 158. Again, timing is the variable. Weekly ATR is 1327. All right. My void, obviously, if we pull back, all right, if we pull back, I'm looking at the 9. But for today, the neutral is going to be between the trendy edge, which is roughly 144.88. Okay, 144.88. And then this upper um, D cell. So let me just draw that in for you so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so roughly right here into here. Okay, just like that. And that's going to be a neutral. Okay, and the numbers don't have to be perfect. They just happen to work. All right, so that's neutral right in there. Now notice, I want you to be careful with this one, SRPT. You can see that there's a trendy edge right above us, right? So we know that when price is below the trendy edges, we look for them to be resistance until they're not, okay? And you can see that, resistance, okay? Price hits this trendy edge, resistance. So here, even though I might get super excited, take this trade, start getting happy, this could be a trend level, just to be careful from 146, all right? All right, and just really quick, let me go ahead and show you a few others that have been working out very nicely. DDOG, okay, we took this. We thought this would take a month. And I just want to show anybody that's actually watching what we're looking at so you can see the final result. Okay, and we've had plenty of these, I think, in the last 2 weeks that have done very well. This is, again, an ACDC, but this is after the fact, and we did take this trade. I want you to see the significance of the levels. This is where we look to get long, okay? And once we get in here, this is where we look to get this target. That's what we did. Now, I was looking at this to happen like a week or two out, but it happened in 2 days, I believe, 2 or 3 days, which is really that much better, right? All right, so there we are hitting our target. And then this morning, your biggest level, set an alert above here. If you can get above here, look for 96.67, okay? But for now, I believe everybody is out or at least trimmed. Anything else you guys would like to see, please let me know. We have about 10 minutes or so. All right, let's look at Amazon. All right, so Amazon gave you this target here of 2883. Can't make this stuff up. It's moved very nicely from there. I believe, looking at this, you can tell what happened. We moved into the trendy edge on close yesterday. And as I said, we're waking up here a little bit down. Who cares, right? If you got long here at our target, then you're very happy. All right, so the question is, well, do I hold this thing? Can I hold this thing? Well, right here is resistance. Again, you have a double stack of edges, okay? Double stack of edges. So basically, you're moving up into resistance, and you can see for my supply and demand traders out there watching, you can just see how important the edges are, where they are located, and you can see that prices moved up and resisted. Now, today, can it hold the levels? Now, I gave you these levels previously. Now, what's cool about these, what was resistance, does it turn into support? Okay, let's go over here to the 4-hour. All right, you can see here, we came down into the target. It is supported. It pushed up, right? But will it remain and stay support? The more we test them, the weaker they get. And then we look for price to come into the second target where it is confluent with the 4-hour. If you want to be patient today, I'm looking at 2 and 4-hour candles. The EMAs are very confluent with a lot of our trade plans. Okay, so again, 2 and 4 hours. And if you're trending on something and you're concerned, I like 30 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour. Okay, if you're looking for the pullback, 2 to 4 hours. Eric, you missed out. I'll go back. I'll go back through it right before the end. All right, let's go ahead and move on here. So we have, let's see, Amazon. All right, BA. All right, here's BA. It's up just a little bit. It's not been doing anything for a very long time. But what's important to understand is I bought a little bit of time here. It came into the ME. It pushed up very nicely. This is when, we started getting excited, and then it's come right back down. All right. So if this thing starts to continue breaking down underneath the ME and takes out this low, I just give up on BA. Anybody else? Raise your hand. I mean, about the time we give up is about the time it will probably have a catalyst and push. The biggest levels for right now, though, folks, is around 157. If it can hold this, yeah, see, if 157 can hold, right, we should just talk bad about it and maybe it will do the opposite. I don't think BA will ever hold 157 again, right? Maybe. So if it holds 157, we can see it push into 161 with some exuberance. And then from there, I'm going to actually take these off because we hit them as we moved up from here. You can look for the decelerator at 167.38 or so. All right, so right in there. And then these upper targets at 172, 178. They do have earnings coming around the corner, so we'll see. All right, let's go ahead and look at CAT. This was a trade of ours a couple weeks ago. And this is great. You bring up something that we had traded a couple weeks ago, and I love to see the results. We gave you, we traded it into the red box, okay? And then we got rid of it. All right, and that's exactly what it looked like. Now, but check this out, right, Bennett? Can you see what's happening here? That the chart actually worked, right? So we traded up, so we traded up into the zone. It pulled back. We got rid of it. But what do you see? You see that price came back down into the trendy edges and held. So on those days where you do not and you cannot get the courage to trade on a dip, you have trendy edges to kind of help you. You don't have to take it blindly. You can wait for a reclaim. Let me go ahead and show you. You can see where price dipped or flushed into a double combo of edges. When I say double combo, I basically mean it's even stronger than just one. So it dips, but then when it reclaims, we're there to take the trade. Stops go in underneath. Boom, you get a nice result. As far as CAT is concerned, on the daily, we printed an inside candle off a major level. Okay. And then what you want to see going into today is that we can make an inside and up. And once we go inside and up, unfortunately, the range is kind of small for right now. All right. See this 9 EMA that is confluent with the weekly edge? 149.25. That's your that's your risk to reward. So to me right now, this is just me. I'd much rather have taken it here or I want to take it above. Everything between here is just chill. All right. Let's talk about Lulu really quick. I looked at GS and I see, I'm just thinking, I don't know why, man, when I look at you, I think Lulu. All right. This thing, I wanted it yesterday, slapped myself in the face. Maybe it's because I had like 20 positions on. We killed it. It was a great day. It's actually been a great week. But the thing is that, do I buy it now? Well, don't be afraid to buy. Just because something gaps up doesn't mean that we can't buy it, right? So this is the plan that I actually put together. I must have put this out for you guys a couple weeks ago. There's a green box. It flushed it. It reclaimed the edge. We pushed up very nicely. Yesterday closed right on the 9, right? So for any technical traders looking at the daily, they're like, do I want to take this? Maybe. And then we open up. We are at 322. I just want you guys to see this. These are predetermined targets. Okay. So that means for me, the easy way for me to hold this or get into this, even after a big gap up, can it hold 320.78? If it pulls back to 320.78, I want to see if it starts to go bid off of there. If it does, I'm in, looking for 327 and then above 335. Remember what I said, right? I coined this. I'm pretty sure I coined this months and months ago. I kept telling you guys that things would go to 420, right? I don't know why. It just happened. Or maybe Elon coined that. But once I noticed all these stocks that are around in the high twos and threes, we said, hey, they're hitting 420, and they all hit 420. It's pretty crazy, right? So on this one, all right, we continue up here, continue to trade this to the upside into these targets. Okay, we have an inside and up. This could be a very nice reversal into our edges. And then finally, paying attention to your earnings. Okay, it's very important to look at the earnings. Right here, 12.9. Okay, so on earnings, I'd expect a nice little push into 330. This is going to be your major level for Lulu, 330. And what I was going to tell you guys is on Lulu, do you guys remember me telling you they are having $12 days? Do you guys remember that? How many days did we trade Lulu where it went up 12 bucks? It's just one of their things. They like to trade up 12 bucks. Let's see what kind of day we can get here. You can already see what are they up, $8 or $9? So, you might get 2 or 3 bucks out of this. If it goes even further, I'd be surprised. But for right now, that's what I'm looking at. All right. Personally, I'd like to see it above the ME and above this 9 EMA, and then I'll probably swing it. All right. Then Eric, are you there? All right. Hopefully he is. That's what I'm looking at right there. That's a neutral 347.97. 347.97 by 349.33. Okay. In something like this, I probably won't do 4 hours. I think I said I like the 2 hour. You can see it's confluent here. Okay. With the edges. If we do pull back, I like this area. Even if it flushes, I'm going to wait for the reclaim and then I can go like this. Okay. This is supposed to be red, like a stop. All right. Very straightforward. You can see we came back, pushed into the accelerator, nice move up. Okay. Targets here, 350.05, which we have hit pre-market, pretty close anyways. 352.30, 353.99. All right. All right, so we have about 3 minutes left. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. All right, and we'll stop our broadcast here.